Welcome back to the Cognitive Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Clint Rahe, high-performance coach, speaker, and author of The Cognitive Athlete. This podcast is about helping leaders, thinkers, and doers perform at their best without burning out. And as we kick off Season 2, I want to be really clear about what this season is. This is not a series of motivational episodes, and it's not a collection of ideas to think about. This is a 10-week cognitive training cycle. Each week has a clear focus, each week has a specific action, and each week builds on the one before it. So today, week 1, we're not trying to get ahead, we're resetting the game, because every January, the same trap shows up, and if you fall into it, the rest of the year becomes harder than it needs to be. Let's dive into it. I saw this play out every single year when I was in the RAF. At the time, I was a physical training instructor, or a PTI, and one of my jobs was running lunchtime circuit training sessions. 45 minutes, hard work, lots of exercises, running, sweating, you get the gist. Now normally I would have about 30 or 40 people turn up, but every January, without fail, the numbers just exploded. I'd suddenly have something like 120 people packed into the gym for a session. All these New Year's resolutions, fresh starts, best intentions, everyone was motivated. Then February rolled around and we were down to about 90, March back to about 60, and then by mid-year we were right back where we started to 30 to 40 people, which were the regulars. Same faces, same commitment, same rhythm. And I watched this exact cycle repeat itself year after year after year. Not because people were lazy, they weren't, it was the exact opposite. But because motivation always shows up early and then quietly disappears. That experience taught me something early. Motivation is powerful, but it is temporary. It feeds off novelty, it loves clean slates, it thrives on fresh starts. But the moment real life kicks back in, workload, fatigue, work pressure, motivation fades straight away. And that's not a character flaw, that's actually biology. Those people don't fail because they lack discipline, completely opposite. They failed because motivation was never designed to carry them for the long haul. And yet, every January, we build entire years on it. The real New Year trap isn't setting goals itself. It's starting at full intensity, max power. Those January sessions were flat out. People went hard early, they emptied the tank fast. Once a novelty wore off, there was nothing left to sustain that effort. And I see the same thing play out in leadership and business all the time. People sprint into the year, they set too many goals, too many commitments, too much pressure too early. What looks like ambition is often anxiety dressed up as discipline. And the fastest way to burn energy, cognitive or physical, is to sprint without pacing yourself. So what do high performers do? I tell you what they don't do. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on structure and rhythm. In elite sport, nobody trains at peak intensity all year. They train in cycles. Build phases, push phases, and recovery phases. Because they understand something most people miss. Consistency doesn't come from trying harder, it comes from pacing properly. And cognitive performance works the same way. Your brain performs best when there's rhythm, not constant urgency. High performers don't rush in. They pause, they have a look around, they get their bearings, they work out what they're walking into, what's already on their plate, where the pressure points are likely to be, and then they decide how fast to move. Yeah, Clint, I hear you, but I'm not going to change. Well, let's turn all of this theory into action. This week is week 1 of the 10-week cognitive training cycle. The goal this week is simple. I want you to stabilize your pace and stop the energy bleed. This is not a week to optimize, it's the week to regain control. And you have 3 actions this week. Nothing more, nothing less. So let's dive into it. Action number 1 is remove one unnecessary commitment, whether that is one meeting, one obligation, one thing that doesn't genuinely need to be there right now. And it's not about doing less forever. It's just about creating a bit of space so you can think clearly again. If everything stays, nothing changes. Okay, here's action number 2. I want you to set one hard stop per day. Choose a clear finish time and honor it. Not when the work runs out, when the clock says stop. This trains your nervous system to stand down instead of staying switched on all night. Recovery doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you make it a deliberate act. Action number 3, the final one. I want you to write one sentence, just this one. A sentence that describes the year you are actually entering, not the year you wish you were entering. Think about your energy, commitments, pressure, life outside of work. No planning, no fixing, no judging, just accuracy. That's it. Those 3 actions. But here's an important rule for this week. Do not plan the year yet. Do not map peaks and troughs. Do not download planners. Do not add any new habits. That bit comes later. This week is about getting your bearings, working out where you are before deciding where to go. Okay, so let's bring this all together. Today wasn't about discipline. It wasn't about willpower. And it wasn't about doing more. It was about recognizing the New Year trap, the belief that motivation will carry you all year. High performers don't rely on motivation. They rely on rhythm, same as athletes. Next week, we'll move into week 2 of the cycle. This is where we focus on energy, where it's being drained, where it's being restored, and why discipline isn't the real issue for most people. Then in week 3, once your pace is steadier and your energy is clearer, that's when we zoom out and design the next 10 weeks properly. We need to just take it one phase at a time and in the right order. There we go. That's the episode. If today's episode helped, hit follow, subscribe, or just leave a quick review. It genuinely helps this podcast reach the people who need it most. And if you want to go deeper, The Cognitive Athlete is out now in all bookshops and online. You can also head to the website cognitiveathlete.com.au for free tools, assessments, resources, loads of stuff on there. Thanks for listening, and remember, you don't need more hours, you need more energy. See you next time.